I hope you can hear me. Sorry about what happened over the weekend, but got with my tech guy yesterday, and hopefully we've got this ironed out. So let's try it again. Again, I hope you can hear me. I apologize for what happened Saturday. We really haven't nailed any specific reason down yet, but what happens again, we'll have to maybe look at something else. So anyway, there we go. From the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex, this is Timeout Overtime on the Timeout Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Arsenal, and as usual, if you haven't done so yet, please get down there in the corner and smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you very much. We're going to focus mainly on the Lions tonight. We'll try to squeeze everything else in prior to that. What do we got here? Okay, no big deal. We'll try to squeeze everything else prior to that in. Michigan State, Red Wings, Pistons. So here we go. The Pistons are playing tonight. They're playing the Heat at Little Caesars. They come in 4-7, and 4-7. You know, I think an interesting thing about that record is they didn't win their fourth game last year until what was it, January 15th, which was actually this year. January 15th of this year, they won their fourth game. They won the fifth game. If they should win tonight, it would be their fifth win. They'd go 5-7. They didn't win their fifth game last year. I believe it was like January 24th, somewhere in there. It's hard to fathom any team being that bad. And I really, I don't think Monty Williams had any intention of being in Detroit for more than 1 year. I think he purposely made things so bad that he knew was only going to be there 1 year. They'd have to buy him out. He'd take the money and retire. Was it a good move on his part? Probably, but it wasn't fair to anybody else if that's what you're going to do. But are they better this year? Yeah, they're better. They're more competitive. I think they're better defensively. And the good news on them is that Asar Thompson, who's been dealing with some sort of a blood clot issue, has been cleared to play. I don't know exactly when he's going to be back on the court contributing, but that's good news because he's been out quite a while dealing with this thing. Asar Thompson is back. As I say, I don't know how soon or how quickly he'll be back in the lineup and playing. But Red Wings are in Pittsburgh tomorrow night. I believe they are 6-7-1, 13 points. I've said this before, for them, it's really a task. They just don't seem to score more than 1 or 2 goals a game. I don't know what it is about this team, but they just can't score. No offense. I think the goaltending is better this year than it was last year. Power play has not been good. If it were up to me, I would look for another coach. That should have been done last year. I think Steve Arseman, who I haven't been very impressed with him either. I think he's got the job as long as he wants it, simply because of who he is. That's all I'm going to say about the Wings. Like I said, they're in Pittsburgh tomorrow night. I don't expect them to win. It's sad when you realize we have another year yet of ever since Little Caesars Arena has opened. We have not had any playoff hockey or basketball there at all. And that's sad because that really is a marvelous facility. I've never been there before. Joe Louis. Did I say Joe Louis? If I did, obviously, Little Caesars Arena. No. Marvelous facility. And too bad we haven't had any playoff hockey or basketball there since they've opened that venue. But anyway, let's get this out of the way for Beck Chevrolet, and then we'll continue. I think you can say right now the colder weather is upon us. Yeah, I'm seeing highs pretty consistently in the 40s next week. And that's where the service department, Frank Beck Chevrolet, says now is the perfect time to make an appointment to make sure your vehicle is ready for the winter weather ahead. Let them check the strength of your battery, your belts and hoses, wiper blades, antifreeze, and more. Plus, now's the perfect time to get those new set of tires so you don't go slipping and sliding down the highway. And if you don't think your car can make it through another rough Michigan winter, let the sales pros at Beck's help you find a vehicle for all seasons. The 2025s are rolling in nearly every day on the lot, so their selection right now is tops. You check out their inventory on our webpage at frankbeckchevy.com or stop by the dealership on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville and let them help you experience, the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. If you saw any of the Michigan Indiana game on Saturday, you know that Indiana is a rather fraudulent team. I think they'll have at least 2 losses. I doubt very much that they're going to make the playoffs. Quite frankly, I thought Michigan should have won. If they had any kind of a decent quarterback, they should have won. And this shuffling quarterbacks in and out, I don't know whose idea that is, but I'll make a prediction, a wild prediction. Lane Kiffin will be the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines next year. That's a prediction I'm making. Okay, I don't know anything. I'm just making a prediction. Lane Kiffin, Michigan Wolverines head coach next year. Anyway, Michigan is 5-5 right now. They do not play this weekend. They have 2 games left. Northwestern at home, and then that's on the 23rd. And then on the 30th, of course, they go down to Ohio State. They've beaten the Buckeyes the last 3 years. Obviously, that's not going to happen this year. Their only shot, obviously, getting to 6-6 and getting a bowl. They have to. It's a must-win to beat Northwestern on Saturday. And quite frankly, if they can't beat Northwestern, I don't think they deserve to go to a bowl game. Not only that, watching this team play, would you pay good money to go to a bowl game? Spend a week somewhere in a warm weather, a venue, and watch them play somebody? I wouldn't. No way. I wouldn't do that. Michigan State is 4-5. They've got 3 games left. They're at Illinois Saturday. They're not going to win that. So they have to win out. Their last 2 at home against Purdue. They'll win that. And Rutgers? Purdue and Rutgers at home. And again, if Michigan State can't beat both Purdue and Rutgers at home, they probably don't deserve to go to a bowl game either. Although I'd like to see them go to a bowl game. It's been a while since they have been. And I like Jonathan Smith. He appears to be a nice guy. I wish him the best of luck. And Aiden Childs, I think, is a decent enough quarterback. I wish he were the Michigan quarterback. If he were, maybe we'd have a couple of more wins. Anyway, that's going to be all I have to say about Michigan State, Red Wings, Pistons. So one more thing, too, about baseball and the Tigers. Scott Harris held court at the general manager meetings last week. The word is the Tigers probably, if they aren't going to sign any free agents, it'll just be in a 1-year deal. They're not looking to give anybody a multi-year contract. But what is it? That's great to hear, isn't it? So they'll bring in and maybe another 1 or 2 veteran starters. No high-profile pitchers. Give them a 1-year deal. I kind of suspected what would happen when they had this great finish last year from the beginning of August until the end of the year. They had the best record in baseball. They actually won the first round of the playoffs when they beat Houston. I would give Scott Harris false sense of security. In other words, we're fine now. The team to win. What it exists of now, we got a lot of good young talent. We don't really have to do too much. And that's sad. But I don't look for them to make any big free agent splashes this offseason. Just don't. And I don't know where they're at with Tarek Schoolbleeder. I don't look for them to give him any kind of a lucrative long-year contract. I think he's got 2 years left here, and that's it. You say goodbye to Tarek School. That's the way Scott Boras, his agent, is speaking anyway. Oh. Okay, before we get to the Lions, let me put in a good word for a good man, Tim Lindley at Quality PC. Downtown Hillsdale, 37 Waldron Street. The place to go in our area for any technical issues or needs or sales or service. Anything at all, this is the man you want to see, Tim Lindley. Computers, new or used. Maybe you want a flat screen TV, you need it mounted and programmed. This is the guy to do that. Maybe you're changing internet providers, you need installation for that. Anything at all. Printers, new or used. Tim right now has got something in the works with Perennial Park, the senior center here in Hillsdale. I went into talking to him yesterday. He was telling me about it. So got a lot going on. He's a busy man because he's a very good man and he's in high demand. So, like I said, get in there and see him if you have any technical issues at all at 37 Waldron Street, downtown Hillsdale. 517-610-5372, or like I said, better still, get in there and see him. 37 Waldron Street, a couple hundred feet west of Howell. And when you get in there, please tell him Mickey and me sent you. Will you please? Thank you. Lions set a franchise record with their 5th straight road win Sunday night. And I have to admit, trailing 23-7 at the half. I had pretty much conceded they were going to lose this one. I texted to my colleagues. I said, well, we knew they weren't going to go 16-1. It's just not their night. I turned over and watched Yellowstone. Turned back later on in the evening with about 5 minutes left and the game was tied 23-23. Well, obviously I watched the last 5 minutes, saw the dramatic field goal by Jake Bates on the last play of the game, 52-yarder. He got a game ball along with Aaron Glenn, who's from that area, and CD3, Carlton Davis, 2 big interceptions, 4 tackles. He also got a game ball. Carlton Davis, who's only 27 years old, folks, is in the final year of his contract, and Lions need to extend him. And I fully expect him to be here next year with a new contract. I don't see them letting him get away. He's fit right in and meshed very well with this team. A lot of people were disappointed because Zadarius Smith didn't play. He wanted to play. Dan Campbell told him he wanted to sit this one out. On his weekly radio show this morning on the ticket, when asked about it, Dan Campbell said, look, he's played a lot of games so far this year. And he said, we've got 11 games left yet, and we want him fresh. 11. That would be 8 remaining regular season games, 2 playoff games, and the Super Bowl. That's their goal. As far as Jared Goff goes, he got picked off 5 times. A couple of them were tipped. One was a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. A couple more in the second half. Look, everybody has a bad day at the office. When asked if Dan Campbell, when he was asked if he had any concerns at all about Jared Goff, he said he did not. So the Lions, defensively, they're very good. They should completely shut the Texans down in the second half. They only had 288 combined yards of offense. And Mixon, who's had a very good year running the ball, was held to less than 2 yards a carry. So they shut that running game right down. got to remember, too, the Texans were undefeated at home. And, hey, the Houston Texans are a very good team. Not like they're and I fully expect them to be in the playoffs this year. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if they can get Nico Collins back. It wouldn't shock me at all to see them get the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs continue to, you call it luck or whatever. They're still undefeated, and they're still ranked number one in the latest power rankings. Let's get that out of the way first. Latest power rankings. And look, as long as the Chiefs remain undefeated, they're going to be ranked number one. Except with Sports Illustrated, they've got the Lions ranked number one. CBS has the Lions ranked number two. Pete Prisco, CBS, who picks the Lions to lose every week. He thinks Green Bay is the best team in the division. He thinks they're going to the Super Bowl. The Athletic had the Lions second. ESPN has them second. Yahoo has them second. USA Today has them second. A quick look at the power rankings before we get into the Pro Football Focus grades that were handed out yesterday. So the NFC conference rankings as of today. This would be the order, the seeding in the playoffs if they were to start tomorrow. The Lions are the number one seed at 8-1. The Eagles are the second seed at 7-2. And even if the Lions were tied right now with the Eagles, they've got the tiebreaker by virtue of a better record within the conference. That'll all play out as we get further down the road here. But the Atlanta Falcons are the 3 seed at 6-4 in first place in the South. And the Cardinals at 6-4, the 4th seed. The Cardinals going to win that division? I wasn't impressed with the 49ers having to win on a last second field goal by Moody in Tampa Bay on Sunday. Anyway, if the playoffs were to start tomorrow, the Cardinals would not be on the Cardinals. The 49ers would not be in the playoffs. You've got your 3 wildcard teams. The Vikings come in with the 5th seed at 7-2. The Commanders, 6th seed at 7-3. And the Packers are the 7th and final seed at 6-3. Those are your that's a look at the conference NFC rankings, playoff rankings, the way they look right now. Pro Football Focus grades. Top 5 and bottom 5 for the Lions Sunday night on offense and defense. Let's do the defense first. As per Pro Football Focus, the highest graded defensive player for the Lions was Carlton Davis. Deservedly so. As I said, he got a game ball. He came in at 91.3. Second was Pat O'Connor, 86.5. Third, Brian Branch, 83.8. Fourth was linebacker Ben Neiman at 74.7. And fifth was Aleem McNeil at 72.6. Allen Houston. James Houston, who had, I thought, a pretty good game, was rated at a 72. Wasn't bad. They thought he played well. I thought he did play well. Bottom 5 on defense, Mekhi Wingo, 40.3. Terrion Arnold, 48.7. Jack Campbell, 49. Muhammad, 53.8. And Trevor Nowatzki at 56.6. Top 5 on offense, Frank Ragnow, 90. Kevin Zeitler, 91.2. Penei Sewell, 82.2. Jameson Williams, 74.1. And Sam Laporta, 72.8. Bottom 5, David Montgomery, 49.2. Shane Zylstra, 52. Khalif Raymond, 54.1. Brock Wright, 55.3. And Jared Goff, understandably, at 55.4. Injuries. Sam Laporta and Taylor Decker are both day-to-day. You might want to, even if they are ready to play, you might want to sit them out against the Jaguars because right now the Lions are 13-point favorites, and that could go as high as 14 or 15 by game time. As I said, I don't bet, but that to bet a team favored by that many points and relinquish that many points in an NFL game, I don't know about that. That's just the way NFL games go. By the way, it was nice to see Jake Bates come back to beat his old team. The old team by me last year during training camp, he was released by the Houston Texans just before training camp was over last year, before he went to the Michigan Panthers. So it's great to see. I hate to jinx Jake Bates, but he has not missed a field goal yet. He's missed an extra point earlier in the year, but so far he's been perfect on field goals. Good for Jake. Have we covered everything? Is that all? Is that all we got to say tonight? As I say, my goal is to try to keep you up to date with everything that's going on right now. One more stat I want to leave you with: point differential. The top-rated Kansas City Chiefs, who are 9-0, have a point differential of plus 58. Lions, who have the second best record in the NFL, with a record of 8-1, have a point differential of plus 113. I believe the Lions are second in the NFL in points per game, and points per game allowed, I think they are 8th. So they're a top 10 team. One more thing I'd like to say too here. Let me take a little swig of water before I say this. I hate to get ahead of myself. Let's say the Lions win the Super Bowl this year. A lot of people think they will. I think Aaron Glenn has done a marvelous job. I look back to just a couple of years ago when they started 1-6, and they fired the secondary coach, Aubrey Pleasant. Aaron Glenn said, "That's it. I'm going to run the secondary. I'm going to take care of that." They were very good the rest of the year. They finished the year 9-8. Last year, they made a concerted effort to shore up the secondary. It didn't work out. They did the same thing again this year, and it did. What am I getting at here? Look, I think Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson are both going to be head coaches next year. I think Aaron Glenn will be the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints next year, who, as you know, fired their coach a couple of weeks ago. So if they were to lose Aaron Glenn to the Saints next year, the Lions would be compensated in the April draft with a third-round compensatory pick. That's the way it is in the NFL. If you lose a coordinator and he goes on to take a head coaching job somewhere, you are presented with a third-round compensatory pick. What about Ben Johnson? If he goes to, same thing. If he takes a head coaching job somewhere, that's another third-round compensatory pick. So the Lions would get 2 third-round compensatory picks in next April's draft. They're looking at right now. They're in the draft next April. They've got a 1, they've got a 2. They don't have a 3rd because they gave that up for Carlton Davis. They've got a 4th. They don't have a 5th. They gave that up for Zadarius Smith. But if they were to lose both coordinators, they'd pick up 2 extra third-round picks. So they'd have a 1 in the first round, they'd have a pick in the second round, and they would have 2 in the third round and 1 in the fourth. So they'd actually have 5 picks in the first 4 rounds in next April's draft. I might be getting the cart ahead of the horse here, but if they were to lose, I fully expect both of our coordinators to be gone after this year. And in that case, I would think if we lost both of them, I would look for Dan Campbell to hire their replacement from within the current staff that he has now. I think Kelvin Shepard, the current linebackers coach, would probably get bumped up to defensive coordinator. And I think Mark Brunell, the current quarterback coach, would get bumped up to offensive coordinator. But again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. Just food for thought, something to think about. Do I have any concerns? Yeah, I've got one. Even like the last 3 games, Jared Goff has taken an awful lot of hits. If anything happened to him, God forbid, there goes your season. I hope the offensive line can shore that up. Because like I say, he's taken too many hits the last 2 or 3 weeks. So let's hope, pray, keep our fingers crossed. Like I said, they're 13-point favorites. Sunday at home against Jacksonville. 5-0 on the road. They've only got 3 road games left. At Indy, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of Lion fans making the trek down I-69 to go to that game. At Chicago, there'll be a lot of Lion fans jumping on 80, 90, headed west to go to the game at Soldier Field. They'll probably take over both venues. And the one last road game at the end of the year, second to last game, it's a Monday night game in San Francisco. Can they go 8-0 on the road? I don't know. Look, I hate to look ahead. You've got Jacksonville. Then they go to Indy, and then they got the Bears on Thanksgiving Day. The following Thursday night, they have Green Bay at home. And then the second Sunday after that, they've got a 4:25 game of the week at home against Buffalo. I think they'll lose either one of those 2 games against Green Bay or Buffalo at home. I think the Bills might be the best team in the AFC right now. I think they're better than the Ravens or the Chiefs. And that's just my humble opinion. All right. That's about it. I'm done. I want to get a little extra in this week because we didn't do anything on Saturday. So there you go. Don't forget, I'll talk to you again on Thursday. And as usual, the timeout show with Andy and Jed Saturday morning from 9 to 10 here locally on WCSR 92.1 FM. As I said, I'll talk to you again on Thursday. Please remember to treat each other with respect. Have a great rest of your evening, and so long, everybody.